Welcome to All About The Gers, brought to you by our sponsors, the JR Group, Plugged In Business Solutions, DB Dental Care, Reflex Blue, The Right Software, Dev Provider, and Avia Signs. Our chosen charity partner is the Second Chance Project. We are now official agents for the Rangers Lotto. Find out more at www.allaboutthegers.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to the All About The Gers podcast with myself, Ricki and Neill, joined with Derek Ferguson all the way from sunny Larkhall. How you doing, Derek?
Not bad, Ricki. Where is he? Tell me. Where is he missing? Charlie boy?
I think Charlie's in New Orleans now.
Are you sure?
Or is he Miami?
Oh, well, we've lost track of him. We can't find him anymore. So.
He started off in Nashville, and then I'm sure he was going to New Orleans, and then it was Miami.
Anyway, we'll soldier on.
We'll soldier on.
Until we get him back into the country.
That's it. I'm missing him, and then we'll all be back in the studio next week. But you enjoying your wee podcast in your kitchen, aye?
It's a wee bit different, aye. I struggle to go on with it. Sure, this technology, me and technology just doesn't go. So it's second nature to you, but an old fella like me, I've not got a Scooby. Thank God for my missus.
I know, it's lucky we've got the sound engineer Carol by your side, so sorted. How you doing anyway? All right?
Aye, no bad. Aye, just looking forward to the game tonight. So obviously Bologna are at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Aye,
so the boys, my two other boys are away down to watch it. Lewis is at home in Bologna watching the wee watching Lake. So even Lauren, his partner, she's in Liverpool watching the game. But it would mean he would miss a couple of days of training. So he's not willing to do that at the minute. So he's right into the thick at the moment. So
how is he getting on? Because people are asking every week.
Oh, it's gone great. Sometimes I maybe give out a wee bit too much information. So no, listen. Touch wood, he's gone great guns at the moment. So spoke to him earlier. He was a wee bit tired, but that's a good thing because he just says he's working really hard at the minute. So it's all good. So he's on track. Well, he's got something in his mind, Ricki. He knows when he wants to be back. He's told me, but I'm not going to give any more information because I get my wrist slapped all the time.
You'll be in Italian papers tomorrow morning. Anyway, it was a good start for Rangers. Just going, obviously I was in Spain, but watching a wee pub in Spain, watching against Hibs. I thought it was a good start, but then we kind of trailed off a wee bit to the end, didn't we?
It was decent. It was okay. Do you know, Ricki, I was a wee bit disappointed in terms of the selection of the team. I thought he would have went with the same team that played against Malmo. I thought we were excellent. You know, anytime you go away a European game away from home against a team like Malmo, who are the champions of Sweden, and I thought our display was excellent for most days. We should have won it more handsomely. 5 or 6 goals we could have certainly had. But when the fixture, when the team selection came out for the game on Sunday, I was actually a wee bit surprised that he made the 4 changes. The only one change that I thought, would be Yefty in at left back. But I was surprised to see Raskin in there. Surprised to see McCausland and Iggerman as well. We're desperate to see him, but I thought he might have come on for the bench. But it was even surprising during the game because it was okay in the first half. We get our noses in front, and it's a brilliant goal for Lawrence, who's playing pretty well at the moment. But when he made the substitutions in terms of taking Raskin and young McCausland off, I thought he would at least, the manager, give him another 5-10 minutes into the second half. I just think that can play about your confidence a wee bit. So it was a surprise that he took the 2 off, but great goal for Lawrence. But the second half, my God, it was a hard watch. I've got to be honest with you.
It was the main one I was surprised they didn't start with Dessers because I thought he'd done well last week.
Aye, and I just think when you come off a result, when you played really well, I mean, Sweden's not too far away. We're talking about, is it an hour and a half on a plane? So I heard the manager talking about some of them might have felt a bit jaded, the lack of sleep and that. But, you know, in this day and age, they've got the best of everything and how they kind of recover from games. I don't think it was too big an ask to kind of start with most of that team that finished ever so well in Malmo. So, yeah, I was surprised that he went with Igaman instead of Dezers because although he missed a few chances, the big fella, he did lead the line pretty well. But that's up to the manager. He sees them. He sees how they recover. He sees their mentality, how they've reacted to playing a game away from home. So we've got to put our trust in them.
Aye. Do you know, Derek, we need to get told all these players' names because I don't think it's Igaman.
What is it?
Is it known in Yami or something?
Well, that's Bijrami. It's Igaman's up top. Who came in for
Is that how you pronounce it? Aye.
Aye, Igaman. I know it changes all the time, but we'll get there. So I'm sure that's when I was watching the game. I'm sure that's how they pronounced it. He didn't really get himself into the game enough. He was kind of starved of the ball. So, but I think Charlie's touched on this before. The manager will not do it, but he'll not go with two up top. Aye. You know, it's going to be the lone striker. So, and that's a difficult role to play. And this is why I've kind of backed off of Dezers a wee bit. Because we've been awfully critical of him. But the one thing he does, he's got a good physicality about him, puts his shell about. Yeah, he scored a few goals, but I think that's a role that's going to be difficult for Igaman. So I don't know if you could maybe play him off the right or off the left, or maybe in that number 10. But to play that lone role is so difficult, so it is.
Aye. There's Paul McOracle saying, hit the like button, guys, help the podcast, and that's right. So if you hit the like button on YouTube and click the notification button, it means every time we do a video, then you'll get a wee notification. You'll also get an email as well, so you'll not miss anything. Just going back to Tom Lawrence.
Yeah.
Just to think that there was rumours that he was going to be sold before the start of the season. He's actually turning into a really good player this season for us, isn't he?
I think there always was a good player in there. It was a bit stop-start for him, like quite a number of others, Ricki, because of his injury situation. You know, he just couldn't find that fitness. But what he's got a good pre-season under his belt. He's obviously the fitness is there, albeit over Malmo. There was a wee worry when he went down at one point. Obviously, it was cramp that he had. But I was actually sitting screaming at the telly to take him off because sometimes a bit of cramp like that in a game, it can turn into a strain. So I think the manager he's been pretty good at that, you know, in times of seeing that the one or two of the players are maybe tiring a wee bit and whipping them off. So there's a lot to like about Long. He's not the quickest. He maybe doesn't cover maybe enough of the ground as maybe a lot of people would like, but he's technically a really gifted player and he's a clever player as well. Also a worry, wasn't it, with that VAR, you know, because as soon as it went to the VAR, but in this case, you know, it proved the right decision, but the execution of the goal was top drawer. Not a lot of players can do that, so we've got to kind of tip our cap to him. He's come back, he's stuck at it, he looks better physically. And he's got a goal like that in his locker.
Aye, he's scored a few similar to that as well, hasn't he?
Aye. Oh, I mean, we all know he is a good player, and it's just been a frustration, not just with him, but a few others, you know, that they just can't get into that rhythm playing these games after games. So, no, he's a talented boy. He's an experienced player as well now. He's been around the block. So hopefully we can get the best out of him for the rest of the season.
Aye. What did you think the penalty against John Suter? Did you agree with that?
I thought it was a penalty. I thought it was a penalty, Ricki. As soon as I was actually quite surprised how animated the manager was after the game. I think as soon as you make your body bigger in terms of the arms come up, if that ball's going towards goal and it hits your arm, My initial reaction was that's a penalty kick. If it was for us at the other end, oh God, I'd be screaming for it. So it's unfortunate. It's just part of the game. But you know, the big fella come up with a brilliant save, didn't he? So, but I do think it would. I mean, we've seen the course of the last 2-3 years. I mean, we don't know what is a handball. You know, it's. But I just think when you make yourself your body bigger, and I get when the manager was trying to explain it, it is, but it's as if you need to cut your arms off in the box, and you've got to tuck them behind your back, that's not a natural position. It was unfortunate. Was it a penalty? I'm afraid it was. So.
I thought the same as well, but I think it's one of those things, see, because he was basically just in the goal line, and it's just one of your natural reactions, just your reflex. You're just kind of push your elbow up, kind of thing, to try and stop it. But I suppose
I know, and it's like you play with your arms. Of course you do, and I think the manager was trying to explain that. But when a ball was going goalwards and it hits your arm, your hand like that, I think there's always going to be one outcome, and that outcome is it's going to be a penalty. We'll get something like that later on in the season. It'll fall for us. We'll get a decision like that. I'm pretty sure. But I just was a wee bit surprised how animated he was. But everybody's got their own take on it. But you know, I just think the VAR's had a look at it as well, and like the decision we got with Lawrence. You know, sometimes initially the linesman gave that offside, so I'm not the greatest fan of VAR, but in that obviously that incident it helped us, but it went against us with Big Suter. But he's having a good season, Suter. Him and there's a lot to like about the two of them. Him and Big Proper, you know, they're getting that relationship. They're getting games together. They're staying fit. So we need that. We need to get a settled side. So that's the other thing. I don't know if you're going to ask me about it. I just sometimes think there's a wee bit too much chopping and changing. But we've spoken about often enough, Ricki, about the sports science, haven't we? The manager's into that. He taps into that big time. But no, it was a penalty kick, to answer your question. And I'm liking what I'm seeing for Big Suter.
Just talking about the manager, it's been said in the press that Anderlecht were showing interest in signing Philippe Clement, but Clement's come straight out and saying he's no interest. He's here for the long haul. Are you quite happy with the manager so far? And is that a sign of loyalty?
Just go back a few months ago and he signed a new contract, which was I was initially quite surprised about that, but I think he gets the club. He realises how big a club Rangers is, and if he's successful at Rangers, you know, that would be a massive thing for him to have on his CV. So he knows that. He gets what comes with managing Rangers. It comes with pressure. It comes with stress, and I think that's something he's willing to handle. So he's made it clear. He's going to be here for the foreseeable future in terms of the next 2 or 3 years. He's wanting to build. He's wanting to kind of reconstruct behind the scenes. He says so. It's a project. I think I don't know if he used that word, but you can tell that he enjoys. You know, this is sometimes people don't enjoy the stress. They don't enjoy the pressure. He seems to enjoy that. So listen, it's like we've all got our own opinions, and you go into other podcasts and you listen to the fans. Everybody will have a different take on things. But for most part, am I happy with the manager? Yeah, am I?
Do you know, I was just going to go and talk about Alan McCoist, but before we do that, before you were playing for Rangers, did you ever collect the wee pin badges? I don't know if you can see the one on the screen, but I'll show you this one now. It's a cracker. It's the new official Poppy Scotland Rangers badge. It's cracking in it. Did you ever collect things like that when you were younger?
No, I wasn't even into the cards and all that, or the kind of football cards. I was never into anything like that. Ricki, I collected strips. That's what I wanted for like my birthdays or Christmas. I just wanted football strips and that. I always had a ball, but I was never into collecting anything. That was just I just loved playing football every minute of the day. even in school, we're not allowed to take a ball to school, so you always took a tennis ball with you and played with it. So, no, that's, do you know, my missus had said to me, she's got me a wee badge for obviously the Poppy Scotland, so that's a cracker.
It's a cracker.
I'm going to get my hands on that one.
Aye, well, I'm going to get you one for next week, hopefully, but I'm going to put the link to where you can buy them, so you can get them from the official Poppy Scotland website. So I've just posted a wee link in there as well, so you can go on. I think they're about £5, which is really good, you know, and obviously some of the money goes towards Poppy Scotland as well, which is really good. But aye, Alan McCoist, your good friend, just been honoured with the OBE by Prince William. Tell us one of your most memorable moments with McCoist. Maybe none of your after dinner stories, right enough.
But do you know something? That was a brilliant dressing room. We had every morning getting into training. You couldn't wait to get in because we used to sit in that corner. There'd be Coisty, there'd be Fergie, Ian Ferguson, there'd be Durante, and the part was brilliant. So it was. We had our wee nights out and all that. So it was always a wee chat about what happened on the Wednesday night or what happened on the Saturday or the Sunday. But we used to love a wee Sunday afternoon. So we did, and it was done in Burnbank Masonic Club. So we'd always go down there for a bite to eat as well. So we'd go down on a Sunday afternoon more often than not when we could, and just being in each other's company. You could imagine it. Durante, Coisty, Fergie wasn't a drinker obviously at that time.
He's changed now.
It was just day in, day out. It was hilarious. So it's like talk about enjoying now people call it work. I never call football work, but you just couldn't wait to get into training, you know, and you were in there, in some of the patter and some of the mickey taking. But we knew that Coisty was always going to, of course, he had a brilliant football career, but just with the media, it was just made to measure for him. If he hadn't done that, he'd have been a singer or something. It's just natural to him. He finds it so easy getting into the thing I love about Coisty. Like there, you see him with Prince William down at Windsor with all his family, amazing getting that award. But if it was somebody that was struggling, maybe somebody in the streets, you know, of Glasgow that had absolutely nothing, Coisty would treat them the absolute same. So that's the beauty of Ali McCoist. So as it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you'll always get the same Ali. And we also get some other good news last night. I'm on a wee group chat with a lot of the guys. Big Nizzy, who hasn't been keeping too great for the last number of years, so he get pretty positive news last night. Brilliant. So he's still got a battle ahead of him, but the big man will no shut that. So, but it was just a wee bit of good news last night, and on the group chat, we were all wishing him all the best. So it's that's lovely to hear as well. So that was a couple of bits of lovely news, but Coisty just top man, and I don't know. You think he'll be on that Talk Sport again tomorrow morning? Surely he'll have a couple of days off and celebrate it.
A few bevies with Prince William.
How good's that? So amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
You know, no, it's really good. Listen, I'm going to do a couple of the questions online. Ready Teddy Bear, Derek, what was your favourite Rangers strip as a player?
Oh, do you know something? It was the one with the wee kind of, it's like wee squares. The wee tiny kind of squares. It was the wee kind of just the wee round collar.
And the wee button.
The wee button, aye. For some reason, I loved that, but I loved growing up, and I think it was the one, I think there's pictures of Coop, you know, even the big collar, the big red, white and blue collar, it was big, massive, and it was just plain with the badge. For some reason, I loved that as well, but as a player, it was the wee tiny squares. I don't know, I just loved that.
I was a cracker, that one. Do you know it was quite funny, that was actually my school strip, right? And it had the McCune's lager on it, right? So for some reason, obviously, back then, nobody really bothered about it.
So that was the McCune's lager?
Yeah, it was McCune's lager, and everybody, all the other schools, they all complained about us wearing this thing with McCune's lager, so the teacher peeled it all off, but because it was on originally, you could see the darker blue, so it was still saying McCune's lager underneath it. You know, so we got away with it.
Could have been Buckfast, could have been worse.
It could have been, I know. There's Colin Cooper saying, just on trips, I thought this went out on a Tuesday, Ricky. It normally does go on Tuesday, but we were all over the place now because I was just spent my holiday.
And there was company with my son and his girlfriend. They'd come back. They just got back from Bologna last night, so I didn't want to just blank them. So
Charlie's tour in America, but
we don't know what Charlie's up to. So we'll be back to normal next week.
That's why you need to click on the like and the notification button so that you can't miss us, because we're going to be on every week, no fail. It just might not be a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
September weekend, it's always busy. There's a lot going on as well.
I jet lag.
You jet lag. How was your holiday?
Oh, it was amazing. I done a power of walking right enough. Went to a wee place called Seot. I think that's how you pronounce it. So it's like the east coast of Mallorca. But I walked like every day, probably done about 30,000 steps a day. So we walked up to Calabona and Calamalorm. We went to Porto Cristo and all that, So it was cracking. I can't sunbathe all day, by the way. Honestly.
Oh, I'm the opposite.
Aye.
Oh, I can lie about, but I struggle sometimes even walking with this gammy knee of mine. So
still no update on that now.
Nah, it's just I'm a lost cause. But no, see, like the walking's brilliant for you, and it makes a difference when the sun's out, innit?
Aye,
the sun is shining. Oh, it makes a massive difference. So brilliant.
Malmo versus Rangers. Were you expecting that result?
No, absolutely not. I was hoping for a good performance, and at best, I was thinking we'll get a draw out of that. I tell you what. It was a great start. We got off to the big fella should put it into the back of the net, but just plays the 1-2 off the post, and Bajrami, following up, puts it into the back of the net, and then we were just in complete control, very comfortable. You think about the 1v1s, the one Cherny misses. I didn't feel confident actually when he was going through 1v1. Even missed it by quite a bit. Big Deserts missed a few as well. It's just it should have been 5 or 6. I just didn't see it coming. It just seemed to click really well. There was just a good togetherness. There was a good energy about us, and we just lacked that bit of quality in the final third. And then another day that can come back and bite you in the backside. But no, the overall performance was excellent. That's how I was thinking about just going same again with that team against Hibs. Good, because it just sometimes you stumble across a first 11 that just works. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it. But the manager, obviously, and this is what we say, we put our trust in him. He's got different ideas. He wanted to freshen it up, and he did so. But no, it was a great result. Any result, Ricky, in Europe, away from home, like that, I was delighted with that. It was a brilliant performance.
Do you know that it was our first ever win against a Swedish opposition? That
makes it even. I think that was well documented before the game, so they were a wee bit cheeky in terms of a couple of things,
tweets,
a bit of Mickey taking and all that. So,
Rangers were good with their reply, but...
Aye, but do you know something? Sometimes you need wee things like that gets your back up, that motivates you. So you look for anything to get yourself going, to get yourself up for a game. So they just looked in complete control. And again a nice balance with Barron and Diamandi in front of Proper and Suter. It was good. Maybe 1 or 2 you could have looked for a wee bit better. Maybe down the right hand side in terms of Tav and Cherny. They've no really kind of hit it off. They've just been if you look at the last number of games, they've just been a little bit below par. But then you look at the other side, there was Kizwari that comes in at left back and very comfortable. And again, you were talking about Merley, Big Deserts. I thought he was excellent, wasn't he? And then the impact. Let's not forget about the impact with McCausland. Comes off the bench, brilliant attitude, and he showed the rest of the guys the way to go in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. So and he get pulled back as well. Sometimes a lot of players just go to ground, but no, the wee man's got a wee bit of grit and determination to go with that ability, and it was a brilliant hit.
I was really happy for him because he has been getting a bit of stick off the Rangers fans over the past couple of weeks, but I think the past 2 games he's actually done well.
I think he's been excellent. And that's why I was going back to I'm getting took off at half time. It doesn't do a lot for your confidence. I thought the manager would give him another 5-10 minutes, then bring him off. I thought he was better than Tierney, McCausland.
Tierney's another one that's been getting a lot of critics over the past couple of weeks as well. But I think there is a player there, by the way.
Aye, but there was a wee bit of reaction to the crowd. I think he receives the ball just inside the opposition half. He should be getting on the half turn. He should be looking to get forward. And the fans are there because they're obviously a little bit impatient when you're just you're not playing very well. So Tierney's got to be able to learn to deal with that criticism. You know, he threw his arms up. He has a go back at the crowd. It's not the wisest move in the world, but I think this is something he's got to get used to and be able to deal with, because if you want to be a Rangers player, listen, it's nice to get the pats in the back, but one of the most important things is you've got to be able to take that bit of stick. That's the pressure that comes with it. So if you're maybe not just quite at it, and listen, there's been better players, a lot better players in Tierney that have had worse stick than that. So it's a learning curve, and I hope he does learn. I hope he can. He'll look back at it and think that's maybe that wasn't the kind of wisest thing to do.
He done a cracking move the other day when he beat two players dead easy in the 18-yard box, you know. So I think it will come. But as I say, it's first season.
Ricki, and if he keeps, and if he can get the head down, keep improving, keep getting better, show that he wants to play for the jersey, the crowd will accept him. So we know that. That's why he's at the club, because he's a good player. So sometimes you go through these wee sticky patches. He just needs to fight his way through it.
Aye. So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock against Leon. They're currently sitting 8th in the league, but their season's just started. I think that's just after one game. How would you line up against Leon then? Would it be similar to last week?
Pretty much so, apart from I think Yefty will start in there at left back, but I would probably go with the same side that done ever so well against Malmo. But again, you see, try to second guess the manager's team selection. I've not got one right all season, because he just throws in a wee grenade every now and again, which you wouldn't expect. So I mean, go back to last week against Malmo. I think most days we're looking at maybe Sterling getting in there at left back. You know, so the boy Casemiro, is that how you pronounce his name? I mean, he hadn't played a lot of football, Ricki. You know, he'd only played about 10 minutes or something. So that was a surprise that he went in there instead of Sterling. But he went in and did ever so well. So I wouldn't kind of stray too far away for that side. Maybe just Yefty getting in there, because we need that kind of pace. We need that physicality as well. They're a good side. They've got some big names in that team, in that Leon team. They've spent a few bob, but we've got to go in with that attitude, you know, that we can beat them. We can at Ibrox. Of course, we're back home. It makes such a difference. And sometimes don't get caught up too much in the player that has been, you know, because there's a few of them in there, big Matic, you know, right in the middle of the park, and there's a few, you might have them at hand there, but so they've got a few big names, they've spent a few bob, but listen, once we're out there, we're at home, we've got to be aggressive, we've got to use our physicality as much as anything to try and upset them. Don't let them get comfortable. The fans will know. The fans will create the atmosphere, and it's up to the players to react to that and go at them right for the off. And that's.
Why do you think we always seem to play better in Europe? Is it because like both teams are just going for a win kind of thing? They're not
maybe sometimes the way teams set up against us, they'll not sit in too deep. They'll open up against us, and that can suit you. So it's so hard sometimes. Like in the Premiership, most teams they come to frustrate. Leon will not come and frustrate tomorrow night. They'll come with the belief that they can win this. So that's where the spaces that we can take advantage of. But then what we can do is, with that crowd under the lights, use our aggression, use the physicality, and go and get up against them and ruffle a few feathers. Because if you stand after these players, the good players that Leon have got, they'll hurt you. So don't give them time, don't give them space, just get up against them and make it physical.
Aye. Alex Kelly's always good for stats, so here's one for Alex. A wee start for you tonight. Since 2017, Rangers have played 33 games in Europa League wins, 24 wins, 6 draws and only 3 losses. Thursday nights are Rangers nights. That's quite impressive, isn't it?
Aye, and there's nothing better than under the lights a European night. There's something magical about it. I'm not so sure about Sunday nights at 8 o'clock against St Johnstone. I'm not so sure about that, but the punters will turn up for that. But there's a European football. It's just got a different feel. It always has. And listen, maybe the players are more motivated because it's a showcase game and they want to go and show what they're all about. So you've got to factor in all that as well, Ricki.
Here's another great start for Alex Kelly. Leon have spent 188 million in the last year on rebuilding their squad. Rangers have spent 14.1 on 12 players for hours. That's huge, isn't it?
Aye, but that's the way it is. I mean, we know the stats in terms of what the Premiership teams get down in England, 100+ million. We get, 3 million? I couldn't tell you what happens there in France. But listen, they're there to be shot at. Sometimes it's like I used to say, it's like kind of the wee Glasgow Gallus guy. They love going up against they love to be the underdog, you know, and there's nothing better than that. So, and you use all that as ammunition to the players. You use that to motivate them, because that's where they've spent big money. The guys are on big money as well. We're not in that position. We're far from it. But is it a game we can win? Of course we can.
Right, especially Ibrox will be bouncing again, won't it? It's good to see it full.
Aye, and there's no better place than a European night at Ibrox under the lights. Don't just go what I say. You look at even experienced players that have came and played at Ibrox, and they've been wowed by the atmosphere. So the fans will make it like that tomorrow night, and it'll could be another wee special night.
Aye. Like we were talking earlier on about rotation, it's quite a new thing over the past couple of years, but back in your day, like European football and everything, you always kind of stuck with the same kind of 11. You know, how tough is it on players nowadays that, 2 games a week?
You're asking the wrong guy here. I just think they're kind of wrapped up in cotton wool a little bit too much. I get that they're fitter, they're better athletes in this day and age. But I've got a wee bit of insight into it with my son. When I was watching him playing last season, so they get all the stats and that. I just sometimes think it can be for a player. It's a get out to use the word. I'm tired. There's nothing better. You ask it. All football players will tell you. Do you want to train? Or do you want to play? You want to play. So they've got the recovery, the recuperation, everything's there for you to go out and perform. So I just think there's a wee bit too much emphasis. Now, this is why I'm probably knowing the game. There's a wee bit too much emphasis put on sports science, and team selection sometimes is dictated by that. What I would say with the teams that I played in at Rangers, not just Rangers and Hearts, sometimes when Hearts were in Europe, you play with niggles, you play with strains. It's amazing when that adrenaline, you're playing in front of a full house. You can get through a game, so you can. So I just think they're just kind of mollycoddled a wee bit too much.
Aye, do you know, Derek, last night?
That's how I'm the wrong man to ask.
Aye, do you know, last night I watched wee Greg Docherty was playing with Charlton last night, and see watching that game, it actually reminded me of what football used to be like. Do you know, see the pace, and everybody was going in for big hard challenges and all that, and the referee was like telling the players to get up and get on with it, but when I was watching, I was thinking if that was a challenge up here, that would be the game stopped, and but it was really good. It's just total different style of football down there.
Aye, and a real physicality. The thing is, the guys are giving it everything, absolutely everything. Sometimes in European games, but it can be a wee bit more tactical. Of course, it is. The manager will set the team out with a game plan, as he always does. So it's just within that. I just think, and it's just my opinion, that you can sometimes nurse your way through a game. You can get away with it. Sometimes when you're on top, you don't need to be running here, there and everywhere. You can manage your yards. You can be clever about it. But then again, I saw a stat that, a lot of players, they like to be told exactly what their role is, what they're to do, and they stick to it. Sometimes in our day, it was left to the players, to kind of suss out, right, maybe we need to sit in a wee bit here at the minute, we need to deny them, or else, hold on a minute, we need to get forward more, we need to get the ball into the wide areas, we need to go over the sometimes it's about you thinking for yourself out in the park, or, so it doesn't always have to come for the side, for the manager and the coaches, but I think more often than not it does in this day and age.
Score predictions brought to you by Avia Signs.
You ready for it that time?
No, you just threw that in there, didn't you? It just come up muted there, and I'm like, here we go.
Here we go.
That was lovely.
So, predictions for Leon.
Right, as much listen, it's going to be a terrific atmosphere. Of course it is. It's going to be bouncing. But you know something? I would be happy with a score draw tomorrow night. A 1 each, a 2 each, or something like that. They have got a lot of quality. A draw would certainly not be a bad result. So I'd maybe plump for a draw tomorrow night.
Aye, I'm going to just go something
You'll
crazy.
Go for a win, I know you will.
Aye, 3-2 Rangers.
Aye, I'm trying to think with the old Napper here instead of going with the heart.
I'm going with the heart, but I've just got a feeling that if we go for it and get a couple of goals, they will be good enough to claw it back. But aye, fingers crossed for a win. But I've got a wee bit of bad news as well. I was telling you earlier, one of our good wee friends that we've done a couple of gigs with, we Deji DeVito, wee Stevie passed away last night, so our thoughts are with all his family and friends, because the wee guy was amazing. He'd done like so much for charity over the past few years, and he's been suffering. He's been going to dialysis. He was waiting for a transplant and everything, but unfortunately passed away last night. So our thoughts are with all his friends and family.
Same here, Ricki.
Sad news. Remember we done the gig with him up in Earth?
Aye. I remember you too.
You disappeared early.
Teetotal that night, and that was me. You two were outrageous. So you were.
We went up to do our final set, and you were there for about 5 minutes, and you just disappeared.
You were on a different planet.
Me and Charlie had to get the bus back.
But you decided to get the bus. You already said that to me, so I was like, right. Two drunk men, I'm out of here.
But I was up singing with wee Stevie the karaoke and all that. But so our thoughts going to him. He was a great wee guy. He done loads for charity and everything, but another good one taken from us, unfortunately. But unfortunately, that's the end of the podcast, and we will be back hopefully next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday we'll be back. Next
Tuesday, and Charlie will be back with his cowboy boots and his cowboy hat and all that on, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's been for ages.
He'll have a few stories to tell, so that'll be quite interesting. So it will.
That's it. And if you've never seen it at the start, Poppy Scotland, official sellers of this official Rangers Poppy Scotland badge. You can get it online. Just visit Poppy Scotland. It's a cracker. It's only, I think it's £5, but that's brilliant. I imagine they'll sell pretty fast, so you need to be quick. But we'll be back next Tuesday. And Derek, you can go back to. Is that just 7-Up you're drinking? Everybody's asking what you're drinking.
By the way,
they're wondering why you're not in here. I think you're having a wee drink.
See you next week.
You too. All right, take care and have a good weekend, and tune in next Tuesday. Take care.
Cheers, Bears.
Brought to you by our sponsors, the JR Group, Plugged In Business Solutions, DB Dental Care, Reflex Blue, the right software, dev provider, and Avia Signs. Our chosen charity partner is the Second Chance Project. We are now official agents for the Rangers Lotto. Find out more at www.allaboutthegers.co.uk.